Hello everybody, good evening. This is Austin and I am here with another Guild Wars 2 video. Here I'm going to be playing on my Norn Ranger, Johanna. You've probably seen her in some of my other videos. She is most certainly my main in this game. Probably my most played character by several dozen hours. Probably even more than that by this point. Anyway, I was talking with my cousin over Zoom over the weekend, and I mentioned that there is a platforming puzzle, or a jumping puzzle in this game, that is really fun, and that I am a huge fan of, that I used to run daily, just because I could. And I got really good at it. I can do it in a matter of minutes when I'm really practiced on it. And so I thought, hey, let's go and record a video. Let's show it off. Let's just have some fun with it, all right? So, to give you a bit of an understanding of where we are here on the beach of Siren's Landing. As you can see, Siren's Landing right there. Siren's Landing is a region of the island of Or, which is here. I'll get a bit more in depth on the history of Or as we're going through the jumping puzzle, but just so you understand, we are here, and we're going to try and get over to this rock just off the coast. However, that rock is that extremely tall structure with a ruined ship just at the very top you could probably barely make out. We're going to try and jump all the way up that rock. This is not abusing any kind of weird physics or anything. This is not us trying to go someplace we can't. This is intentionally designed by the creators of this game to be able to be scaled in this fashion. It was a puzzle that has been there since the very first day that this map was put in the game, and people have sung its praises, myself included, ever since. There's probably well over 3 dozen, maybe even more than that, of these jumping puzzles throughout the entire game. Some are great, some are easy, some are frustratingly difficult. And then there is the Arm of Abbadon, or Abbadon's Ascent, as I like to call it. I forget where that name originated. I want to say it was in a Guild Wars 2 YouTuber's take on this, but I always like the alliteration of it. So yeah, Arm of Abbadon. We are going to go all the way up there. You can just see the silhouette of the ship towering above us. And we're going to be climbing this massive structure. So here is the start on this ruined ship. I'm just going to go up through the interior. You're probably seeing all of these coral deposits on all of this wreckage around us. That is because Or is a sunken island that has been returned to the surface. About 200 some odd years ago, there was a war for the island of Or, one of the human kingdoms. The first human kingdom, actually, was originally colonized by humans. Oh, and I immediately messed up the first jump. This is off to a great start. Actually, I should confess, this is my second take because my first take had absolutely atrocious audio issues. So we're going to do this again. All right, let's actually get the first jump down. Perfect. Anyway, as I was saying, Or was the first human nation settled by humans that came to this world. Their gods, the 6 gods, came with them. And this was sort of their divine domain. This was their heaven on earth. And eventually they left, but the humans remained. And then, about 200 years ago, there was an invasion of the island. And a vizier by the name of Kilbron, a very powerful mage, read from an ancient scroll to try to perform a ritual that would end the invasion. And it did, by sinking the entire island beneath the sea and killing everybody on it, including the defenders, including the invading army, including the civilians, everyone. All of the ships nearby got sucked down into the abyss with them. And then, when the island was risen from the waves centuries later, it captured a bunch of other ships, pierced them on the land and on these rocky outcroppings, much like this one, and here they remain. Now, the being that rose the island from beneath the sea is an elder dragon called Zaitan. He was the villain of the original launch of the game. A very powerful Elder Dragon could raise an entire army of zombies to do his will. And as it turned out, there were 2 whole armies worth of zombie material just floating in the waves around this ruined island. So Zaitan decided that, hey, let's just raise all these up as my minions and throw them at the living and cause a zombie apocalypse, as you do. All right, so here we are at the first checkpoint. As you can see, it's already open because I've already done this once. Thank you, audio issues. Now, the cool thing about checkpoints is that when we reach them, we can actually reset if we fall, and we'll go right back to those checkpoints. Hopefully, we don't need to do that because I've already done this once today, and I'm a pro. I'm going to try and keep my camera zoomed out because I don't want my glider to obscure your vision and blind you. All right, so that was the first step. There are 3 segments to this journey. And right here, we're going to make sort of our first big blind jump. And we're going to glide over onto these barrels. Oh, and yep, there we go. All right, can I... All right, let's land. And here we are. All right, so as I said, you can reset back to the checkpoint, which I just did. Unfortunately, that's the jump that always gets me. I always mess that one up at least once. I even messed it up on the first take of this too, so at least we're being consistent. Alright, so we're going to try and do this again. Land. Alright. And... oh, no, see, the slope of that barrel is very precise, because you need to land on the top of it. If you land on the edge, you'll just slide off, and you won't be able to continue progressing. So, we're going to do that again. My original run of this was about 18 minutes long, so let's see if I can beat my time. Obviously, we're not off to a great start. See, this is it. I'm getting jittery. I'm getting nervous. Trying to race against myself is causing me to make mistakes. Let's not make mistakes. Let's try and do this perfectly from here on out. All right. Try and do this jump one more time. 3rd time's the charm, right? Let's do it. We're on the barrel, and you know what might actually be helpful? I'm going to merge with my pet. That's going to give me a speed boost. It's actually going to make me able to make these jumps a lot easier. Johanna is a ranger, but she's on the elite specialization known as a soul beast, and soul beasts have the ability to merge with their animal companions and share in their power, which, because of how I've built Johanna, means that she gets a 30% increase to her movement, which will allow her to make some of these tougher jumps just a little bit more easily. All right, and up we go. All right, now we're up to the next blind jump. You might notice that over here is a bit of a dead end. There's no further progression, and the landscape seems to want you to go over here onto this bowsprit. But there's nowhere to go. What you have to do is make a blind jump around this corner over here. And try and hug the wall a little bit. And there we are. There's the platform. So we're going to land over here. All right. And we're going to glide over here. And now we're going to continue scaling. Some of this terrain, as you can see, is a little precarious. It's a little rocky. It's got all these divots in it that can catch you and make it a little difficult to navigate. But we're going to manage. All right, so we're going to go up the slope. Now, you would think what you want to do here is jump and glide down to that outcropping, but that is incorrect. You'll have to start over if you do that. You want to get up here into this alcove, and then you want to glide over and land on this outcropping further up, and this is how you're going to continue to progress. I don't remember the name of the designer who made this, but he's made a lot of the great jumping puzzles in this game, and some of them have some really devious, tricky little things like that. And some of them also have terrain that you get your feet caught on. So, all right, up here onto the barrel, and awesome. Okay, so this is the second checkpoint. Can I get up, please? This is the second checkpoint. All right, again, I've already done this, so this is already opened, but now we're here. The torches are lit, and we can continue. What we're going to do now is we're going to go and we're going to jump over here. We're going to scale up here. All right, we're going to get on top of... Jump. Some of the momentum in this game is a little finicky. There's actually a difference between jumping up and moving forward and jumping up and moving forward at the same time. You might have seen there's a bit of a difference there, especially in terms of how I moved. And you have to make those different kinds of jumps at different points along this puzzle. So we're going to get here in this crook between the mast and the arm and immediately fall off. All right, let's do that again. Because the checkpoint is moved up here, if I need to, I can always reset back to this level instead of the one further down. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to beat my original time. Yeah. See what I mean about some of these slopes here being a little finicky? I think I might just be... Yep, there we go. Okay. It takes a little bit of practice, but you kind of need to learn how to read the terrain and see what surfaces you can land on and which ones you can't. Yep, there we go. All right. See right there. Because this is supposed to be a cylinder, you have to be very careful about maintaining your balance or you'll just slide off like I did. It's actually kind of disappointing because the first time I did this, I did it perfectly. I got to that part and I just continued and there was no issue. So clearly, second takes are cursed. Never do second takes. If your audio is messed up the first time, doesn't matter. Just go with it. That is the moral of this story. All right, now we can progress. We're up here, climb over, and we're gonna go and land on this bowsprit right here. This is a bit of a finicky jump. There's gonna be a number of jumps like this where you gotta land on these poles. I don't even know if it's necessarily appropriate to call it a bowsprit because it's not actually attached to a ship anymore. And for all I know, it could actually be like a main mast or something. It's pretty narrow for a main mast. I don't know. All right, so we're going to go over here. And... All right, these corals can catch you a little bit. See? You notice how they're kind of all bunched up? It's actually very easy to jump into one of them and get knocked off course. So, or just slide off like that. There we go. Just gotta not rush. Just gotta take your time, find your footing, find your course, and follow it. And glide over here. And, oh, whoops, I'm a little too low. There we go. We need to get up on this one. Yeah, so when this first came out, they don't tell you how to get up here. They don't even necessarily show you where this is. You have to figure this all out for yourself. So on the day this came out, everybody just kind of had to figure out what the correct path was. Because there is basically only one correct path. And as you can tell, there's very subtle markers, or in some cases, not any markers at all. I remember there was one streamer who did a race of this on the very first day. All right, so instead of gliding over there, what we're actually going to do is we're going to turn around and we're going to aim right here towards the middle of the screen, right into this divot. Yep. If you go off to the side, you'll just hit the rock and slide down. You got to get right there in the middle, and then you can progress up. Anyway, but yeah, there is footage of people just doing this race up the top of this rock, trying to figure out the correct path. It's really fun to go and watch. But if you're not familiar with the game, it might be a little overwhelming because there's just so many people. This came out in, I want to say 2017? I believe it was 2017. So at this point, almost 4 years ago. And it was super hyped. This was Living World Season 3, Episode 6. This was the final episode before the Path of Fire expansion. And everyone was really interested to see just what was in store for us. What was this going to do to set up the expansion? Because the expansion was going to open up a whole new region. We were in pursuit of the God of Fire, Balthazar. We didn't know why. We didn't know why he had come here to Siren's Landing. And we certainly didn't expect to get such a cool jumping puzzle. So, there we go. Now we're in business. Now we're actually scaling this appropriately. We're getting up towards the top. As you can see, we are well above where we started. And our end point is that ship, that burning ship up there, just above us. So we're going to get there before too long. Come over here to the side, jump. And there we go. All right. Again, some of this terrain here, as you can see, it's very uneven. It will catch you. It's sort of like catching your toe on a curb or something. Except there's a lot of curbs. All right. Jumping puzzles are actually kind of challenging for a lot of people. They require a lot of precision, a lot of very fine control. And for some people, that is difficult for them. Thankfully, the community is very supportive of its players. And so there are people who will, for example, try to teleport players up to the top of these jumping puzzles just so they can at least get the reward for it, even if the physical act of the jumping proves to be a challenge. So now we're going to get up here. This is the third checkpoint. This would be where you would get your final reward. You'd get a series of Orient pearls, some other treasure, maybe something really cool, and the ship would catch on fire, much like it is now. Unfortunately, I can't show you that footage because it's part of the other clip, and I really don't want to go and have to splice this out. So, yes, you're not getting the full effect because I'm lazy. All right, so now that we're here at the top of the ship, that is it. The jumping puzzle is over, but there is one final thing that we need to do. There is an achievement in game for completing this jumping puzzle, but there's also an achievement for coming out here onto the bowsprit and coming over here to the end. Just look back. You can see this beautiful burning ship out here in the void of the clouds, and we are well and truly above everything else. You can barely even see the sheen off the water far below us. This is really cool because what we're going to do is we're going to hit F right here, put on a bathing suit, get these handy diving goggles, and we're going to jump off. And you can see my my red panda there constantly having to update his position and just falling with me. So it's kind of hilarious. And we're just going to keep falling. And we're just going to keep falling. And we're just going to keep falling. And then splash. So here we are. We have fallen all the way down the arm of Abbadon, otherwise known as Pilaster Rock. And that was it. We jumped all the way up there. Again, one of my favorite jumping puzzles in the game. Maybe I'll show off some of the other brutal ones. Maybe I'll show off some of the other fun ones. Maybe some of the easy ones. There's some really fun ones that I'd love to show off. So if you enjoyed this, let me know. That'd be great. Hopefully it was fun. Hopefully you weren't too confused by the little lore dump that I gave earlier. And otherwise, thank you for watching. Hope you have a pleasant evening and have a good night.